it's another Sunday morning up at the plot. I feel like I've got a bit of explaining to do because there's been a little bit of a kind of a gap in getting videos up. I did put a little note up in the community tab as well about it, but my computer's been away for 2 weeks. I've got a laptop and it were a reconditioned one, which I bought a few years ago, I must admit, but since I've had it, it's always had a fault on it. So long story short, my laptop's been over to a place to have a look at, have the engineers have a look at it, and they've basically found that the hard drive that's in it, I think it's the hard drive, I'm not very techie, am I? It wasn't really the right size. It had a load of free play in it and it were kind of wobbling around, and whenever it sort of wiggled and lost connection, that's what was shutting it down, it seems to be. So they found a spare part that they had and put it in, and they had to wipe it completely. So there's been a lot of things, all my editing suite, all the rest of it, that I've had to reinstall. It's actually not solved the problem. I mean, they did the best they did, but I mean, that computer, it was funny because the chap in the shop, I mean, they've been really, really good. I'm quite happy to give them a shout out. They're called Techmonkeys over in Wakefield, and Chris, who did a lot of work on my laptop, he said, this laptop wants to be as far away from humans as possible, quote unquote. That's what he said, and I wasn't upset. I mean, you know, much better than me. So they've done me a quote for a new one, for a proper PC with a nice big monitor, loads of RAM, you know, amazing processor, all this sort of stuff. So I can actually up my game. That's what happened. My computer's been away 2 full weeks, and in the meantime, it's been horrible weather. It's been really, really rainy. There's not been a lot of days where I could really come up and do a great deal. So there's been quite a lot of times I've set the camera up, I've gone blah blah blah, this is what we're going to do, and then I've had to go, sorry, but we're sacking it off, because it's just been kind of unworkable, and I've had that many things to do at home coming up in a minute as well, that we've had to use the time quite efficiently and just, you know, go and do other things that have been necessary. So I've got all this footage that I took of little bits of jobs and things that I did manage to do, and really it'd have made plenty of videos, but I'm going to have to give you the highlights and condense it into a little chart, a little 10:1 of what I've been doing. So bear with, and we're going to skip through time really quickly and just show you the highlights. Go. A load more bags of the good stuff. Bags and bags and bags of it. Ooh. So I've just put the lid on and I've left it just open like that, just so it can dry out a little bit, but I'm hoping that this is a small enough gap where the cat doesn't take a liking to that, if you know what I mean. Because yes, it's meant to be quite nutrient starved really, is this compost, and yeah, we don't want anything growing off cat cobbles, do we? Right, so this is my little potato rack that I set up. It's not anywhere near as full as it was last year. So hopefully we've got a more sensible amount, but let me show you the 5 varieties. I'm gonna have to check the labels, you know. So yeah, Kestrel. And I've got some, you know, getting some nice little healthy chits going on there. Desiree. Put the label, you know, convenient way up onto there. That's one. There's a couple that I've cut. Just cut them and let them dry out. Because then you can get 2 for the price of 1 sometimes. So that's a bit of an experiment. We'll see how we go with that. Oops. Ooh. Keep it right way up there. You sit there on top of that one. There we go. So yeah, Kestrel and Desiree, that's one rack. Curse Pink in this one. And Casablanca, they're doing well, but they're a first early, so you know they would be looking like they're ahead of others a little bit. Interesting, isn't it? Because these have got like quite a purpley chit with a dark bit of green on the end, and these are really light. So yeah, just interesting observation going on there. And then up in the top here, these are saved. So those are my ones there that are a bit bigger, but these are all Charlotte. So these are ones from last year that I grew, and I've saved them to use as seed potatoes. So they're just minding their own business there. And they were just some little spare ones, just if anybody else up at the plot wanted some, because they are really tiny. Look at them babies, eh? Yeah, so those are the 5 varieties. Right, there we go. 2 big sides done. I've got to do another one now that joins onto that, and I've got to remember to make it like a mirror image, if you know what I mean. If I make them all exactly the same, I'll have 2 that are right and 2 that are wrong. So I've got to make sure that my posts got the pointy side to the other end on the next one, and then it'll be this one's buddy. Right, so we've got the first hurdle with the bit of wood halfway over, and then we've got the opposing one, the mirror image, attached to a piece there flush. And now we've got to join this bit on into this little step there. There we go, so that's offered up. I've just got to screw it in place, but it's always a good idea to just look down that length there and just sort of eyeball it and make sure that's level enough for you. And you can see that if you look down the length. You can't really tell on this camera, but because it's sort of skewing it a bit, but that's reasonably flat, is that. Right, there we go. 2 big sides done. not totally level, it's not totally square. Those screws aren't in a perfect line, but I don't care. There's a little poem for you there, just for you. Oh, there's my tape measure. All right, so the side it. Yeah, look there, outer square. Never mind, it what way I built it, wasn't it? So yeah, now we've got 4 in a row, all sort of same. That'll be the last one, and I'll grow this a ways again this next year in like little hummocky rows. Sweet corn, pumpkins, potatoes, brassicas, whatever, amaranth maybe. We'll see. It's all in the future. But yeah, I'm glad that's done now. So I've just got to line it now, compost bags. I'm really glad that's done. Oh, I've been threatening it, haven't I, for ages, and we've just not had the weather. It's been really annoying because I've only got so much attention span sometimes to get some jobs done, and when I kept having to put it off, I was feeling like my attention span were going, meh. And like, that bed's never going to get done, because you know what you're like. If I lose interest in it and get on with something else. So I'm glad I've powered through and I've got it done now. And my face is so cold now because it's so windy outside. I can hardly talk, you know, when your face just goes sort of numb and it's not doing what it ought. I still have to put in the external stakes that are where the joints on the long sides are. I'll just put a little picture up to show you what I meant by that, because I don't know if I described it very well before. Yeah, so putting that in and tapping it all the way in, it should just help stop the compost from bowing out the sides, because I must admit those joints are not amazing. I mean, really by rights I should have had a fatter stake, because there's hardly any overlap really of the wood onto the stake. But it's right enough, it's fine. I mean, it's not completely level, it's not plumb, because it's a bit awkward to sort of do on your own, and to even, you know, if you built it as one and then try to lift it into place. My little arms I don't think are long enough, and certainly not with my dodgy wrists and stuff, because I'm feeling it now after all that, but I don't think I'm really strong enough to sort of do that. I mean, you need another pair of hands really. So doing it piecemeal and then knocking those two sides in, trying to get them as level as you can really. And then next job I'll be coming back and stapling all the old compost bags around the outside like I've done on all the other ones, just to protect it a little bit more. So next time I come up, that's probably going to be the job, because I'm probably going to get a little bit of invigoration. I'm probably going to get a little bit of enthusiasm back now for continuing that bed and getting it finished. And then we've got to go and pick up a load more manure from our pal, and you know, to get it topped up with something. But given that it's not tanked, the plants will be able to get the roots into the proper soil. I'm really mucky. Do you want to see? What mucky sleeves. Mucky. Oh, can you see? Look how mucky. Mucky. I don't know where camera's pointing now. Let's see if I can mucky boots and stuff. Could you see that? Could you actually see anything? I couldn't see front of camera, so I don't know what you were looking at. You might have just been looking at wood chip on floor, maybe Kelvin going past. But yeah, quite a big job as you've seen. That bag of sort of goldeny coloured light brown stuff, I was given that by the folks that do the have the little charity place down there, like 3 or 4 plots that are down there in there. They've actually had a group with them this afternoon. They've got the little canopies up, they've got some posts and some little canopies up, and I've seen a bit of fire smoke and a little fire pit lit, and they've been giggling and, you know, having a nice time and whatever sort of session it were, I don't know. But yeah, the lady that runs it, Anne, she is connected to a local coffee place, and she's been shifting these bags of stuff that they don't need away. And it's not actually coffee grounds, it's the stuff I think that's on the outside of the coffee bean that they've got to kind of tumble off before they can get at the bean. And it's all those bags, and it smells really nice. It doesn't smell very coffee like, it smells very roasty toasty. And when it were dry, I mean, it's been down there ages. You've probably seen it in some of the videos, especially the one where I was building up the sides of the bed and then I put them outside because I know it were right there then, and I never explained what it was. Well, it's been there that long, I've been forgetting about it and just, you know, knowing to walk past it, walk around it on autopilot without falling over it. But yeah, it's a bag of that stuff. And when it first turned up, I mean, I've had 2 or 3 of them, and one of them, through that hot summer we've just had, 2022, I did actually mulch some of the beds in with it, because when it goes damp, which is what had happened in that bag, it all clumps together and goes almost like a bit of really thick, wet hardboard. I mean, I bet they could probably use it and laminate it up. Don't tell them, because I want it for chucking it in compost heap and stuff. But yeah, it's really strange. There's a couple of times I've thought, what's this bit of wood in compost? And then thought, oh no, it's that coffee stuff, isn't it, that's all sort of clumped together. But yeah, it created quite a good raft. And I mean, as long as the ground was wet before I put it down, it kind of capped the top of it almost. So, well, you know, you just use what you've got sometimes, don't you? Anyway, and that's exactly what I were doing there by chucking it in that bed. But when it first turned up and it were brand new and it were you know, it was summer, so it were all nice and warm, and if you shoved your arm in it, it was like shoving your arm into the middle of a giant teddy bear. It was so soft and lovely. Yeah, really nice texture to it. Quite enjoyable, why not? So yeah, I just thought, oh yeah, while that's there, I'll chuck it in the bottom, weigh all that cardboard down with it. I mean, you've seen it, didn't you, wafting around and stuff, and a bit of a daft day to do it, I knew that, but I needed something to weigh that down, and I wanted to put it before I put all the manure and the compost on top. So anyway, it's done now, isn't it? And however much as 10%'s wafted off, but there were plenty. But gosh, that were heavy. That were really heavy. I mean, kudos to that giant flipping bin bag. That were really strong. But yeah, it's in there now. I managed it. Took a bit out, chucked it in, then managed to flop it into that. 4 bags of the old manure from last year from our pal. And I think it were 4. Were it 4? Did you count them? 4 bags of homemade compost out of one of the compost bays. That were bagged up a few months ago, and it was just waiting behind the greenhouse. And anyway, now it's served its purpose. That's its job. That big compost heap, I need to open that up pretty soon, because I need something to replace that compost I've just used now, because I've got to bear in mind I do still want to do some potato buckets. And last year, I mean, I were alright last year, because I still had plenty of stash left from my 2021 December stash that I got. And I had manure as well, so it was like half and half compost and manure that I did my potato buckets. But I was just a bit wary that I was going to use it all up and then come to plant my potatoes and be like, oh yeah, no compost. And as I've said a million times, I'm trying not to buy. Well, I'm really trying not to buy. Well, if I can get away with not buying out, but I mean, I have bought a few little bits of stuff because you have to, but I'm trying to be resourceful, that's what it is, frugal and resourceful this year, and just use as much stuff that we've got as I possibly can. And you'll have seen it's not perfectly raked level and there's still lumps in it and that sort of thing, because I have had it officially. If you know where that, who says that, I've had it officially. If you know whose catchphrase that is, leave me a comment. It's not very related to gardening at all, isn't that, anyway? But it's true, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to get packed up, get myself off home, put kettle on for a cup of tea, drop all my stuff and go and get changed. Get all cleaned up, cup of tea, cat on my knee if she'll let me, and have some snuggles with Miss Maya Pops, the cat. Oh, I could just fall asleep here, I'm so tired. Right, yep. Thank you for watching, thank you so much. That wasn't easy, that, honestly, lugging all that stuff about in this slippy mud. Please like, subscribe if you haven't. I know I've started my channel in middle of winter, which were a bit of a potentially daft idea, because you know it's all unglamorous jobs, isn't it, going on, but soon we're going to fly into action, and some, you know, pretty stuff is going to start happening, you know, proper gardening stuff, you know, sowing some more seeds and stuff's going to start coming up, and weather might even improve, my luck might change and weather might improve. So yeah, please subscribe if you haven't already. So yeah, that's where we're up to. Anyway, yeah, the long sort of journey of the raised bed is now pretty much at a close, isn't it? And it can actually be used soon, start of February. Brilliant, you know, we're nearly there, aren't we? We're nearly there, keep the faith, we're nearly there, don't go too mad, don't lose your marbles just yet, but yeah, we're nearly there, it's round the corner, isn't it? And soon the plot's going to start looking legit, because I did start filming, didn't I, at a bit of a silly time of year, but anyway, it happened when it happened and I'm glad it did. I'm enjoying it, meeting some lovely people, lovely comments, and it's great, yeah. 2023, bring it on. Oh, the potato. Number 2, the potatoes. I were going, we don't eat a lot of potatoes and it's very sluggy, so I think next year I'll just Charlottes, because I love Charlottes, everyone loves Charlottes, and I'm going to get just Golden Wonder. I'm going to put Golden Wonder in and that's it. And then on one of the days when I were here and it were a fail, and I thought, oh, in fact I think it was the day I decided I think to go and get more steaks from the timber merchants, but because it's a bit of a ways off from here is that place, it's probably about a, I don't know, I'm trying to think how, it's easier 10-mile round trip or something like that. There's a big garden centre out that way, so I thought, oh, I'll just see if they've got the seed potatoes out. I mean, a bit early, but you know, they may well, and they did, didn't they? I didn't really want to do much filming because it looked a bit weird, there's people up and down, and you know, they're like going, what are you doing? Are you on your holidays at garden centre taking a load of photos and stuff? It just seems a bit, I'm not over that bit yet, you know, going in and just going and vlogging, whatever, you know, deal with it. Be embarrassed on my own. £2 a kilo, that's reasonable, that's really good, that is. Pick your own. So again, you can go, I'll just have 1 bucket of them, I'll try them, four potatoes, not 2.5 kilo, and that kind of thing. So I'm looking round and I'm just like, oh yeah, them, oh yeah, them, oh they're meant to be good, them, oh, and I went, you know, when in poker, when they go, you've gone on tilt, I kind of went on potato tilt a little bit, and I was like, potatoes. So yeah, I've ended up with my saved Charlotte ones and 4 others. Yeah, so that's what happened with buying many potatoes. Sorry, not sorry. But yeah, that's what's been happening, and thank you for sticking with, because this video is going to be a little bit, it might turn out a little bit back and forth kind of thing, just because of what's been going on over the last handful of weeks. But I'm going to try and make it as cohesive as possible, and hopefully I've sort of explained all what were happening and strung it together somehow so it makes sense. And with a bit of luck now going forward, we should have a bit of a more unbroken, more sensible sort of order to proceedings. She likes to think. Yeah, so thank you so much for watching, and yeah, leave me a comment. What have you been doing? What potatoes have you ended up with? Because I mean, We all love potatoes, don't we? And oh, potato reveal. Potato, carrot and parsnip reveal. Oh, cup of tea on the sofa. You know, massive pile of biscuits, watching someone dig up spuds and that kind of thing. It's great, isn't it? It's like Lucky Dip. It's really good fun. And yeah, if you've not already, please subscribe and maybe hit the like button, and see you on the next one. Thank you very much. Where the joints are on the long black. But there's no previous screw or nail holes in them, so nail holes have done really well. I've got a different type for next year. Those are Musselburgh, and I've got Porbella. I thought I wasn't going to remember it then. I think that's the right name. When I said that, I thought, no, that's a shark, but it's not. That's Paw Beagle, isn't it? Ooh! Did you see what I did? I did like cartoon trick and stood on bottom of rake. I could have said that probably in one sentence instead of about 15, but well, I couldn't. One could have, I could not. Did I say everything I wanted to say about potatoes?